Okay, so I'll admit that what sparked this presentation was a pun. I was inspired by the coincidence of terms between the course I wanted to talk about, which is an oral presentations course, and Marshall McLuhan's ideas about oral culture, a term he used to describe the before times of Western civilization. The label follows from McLuhan's principle of the medium is the message. So print media makes ideas and relationships fungible, abstract, linear. In contrast, an oral culture, a culture mediated by oral media, involves a kind of immediacy, reciprocity, and nonlinear thinking, right? So even though the 21st century digital universe had all the promise of recreating oral ways of thinking and being, and creating relationships between people and ideas that would be diffuse and democratic and non-hierarchical, non-linear, in fact, we've just layered print thinking back onto the digital. And definitely within education, that has been the case. Education is still somehow print-minded, still tending to the linear, rigid, and formal, and still conducted with the assumption that minds, thoughts, and ideas are inner workings that happen to individuals. In other words, I really do think that there is a correction to be made in the direction of the oral. What would it mean to try to bring more oral culture into today's digital and face-to-face education? So here I was in 2020, and I'm planning a mini course. This is a not-for-credit course. It is a course that's hosted by the English Language Learners Program. These are actually the first slides that I showed the students themselves. I start out with a whole web, but I'm thinking, okay, I need to make this linear. I have 6 weeks. So I'm thinking I need to maybe make 6 units that are each a topic that needs to be covered, engaging your audience, thesis, structure. Each one could be a week, right? There I was in 2020, and I knew that the students needed more than anything to be able to talk to each other. And although in all my teaching career, I've tried to reduce the frontal teaching and add time for interaction and participative learning, everyone knows that is best practice in education. In fact, I've often failed to do that. But in this course, it just was so apparently important, and the pressure was on, and I put all my efforts into making sure this happens. And I made rules for myself that, for example, every 3 or 4 slides, there would be a breakout room activity. These are the slides that I used. So I said, hey, this course, we're going to introduce concepts in raw levels. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fail. We're going to try things out. We're going to have some fun. We're going to add to the ideas, and we're going to come back to them. Add and come back, expand and come back. The way that happened was because logistically that's what needed to happen, not because I had some kind of intention having to do with my values and my understanding of educational principles. As it turned out, shape coincided and supported my educational principles really beautifully, but by accident. So how did spiraling happen? I had to make sure that whatever I wanted to share with the students in terms of information would be shared in very short chunks. And then I had to create breakout activities just to break up my talking, to give them a chance just to talk to one another. Designing a course or a lesson as a spiral is an educational best practice that I didn't make up. I actually heard of it years ago when I was doing a additional qualification in special ed. And it's not even just a special ed idea. It just means that you're not going to just teach something and just let it go. It's unit 1. We're never coming back to it. Spiraling will help students see that whatever they learn is going to have continuing relevance. So it will help them attend to their learning, and it will justify efforts that they make because they'll understand that this is going to come up again. It can also help them see the topics that they're learning in new context and show them how what they're learning relates to wider networks of ideas. And of course, seeing a concept or a topic over and over will help people retain a material. So there's lots of good pedagogical reasons to spiral. More than that, though, having this spiraling shape to my lessons and small chunks and lots of transitions gave me a lot of opportunity for conversation and feedback between me and the students that was more open-ended and more informal. Because once I throw students into a breakout room and bring that back in, I can't help myself but to spend a couple of minutes asking open questions like, how did that go for you? Did you feel like you learned something from that? What was the most interesting thing that came up in your breakout room? What perplexed you after all of that? And those kinds of open questions allowed us to have larger group conversations that I needed and that students needed so that they can feel that they're heard and listened to and that their learning matters to me. And in the way that I respond, I can show them that I'm also interested in what they say and that I feel that I'm learning from them. And it gives me opportunities to create the kind of reciprocal environment of relational ideas and to model for them that learning is conversation, students have to also feel that the material doesn't just present itself and that their wrestling with it can allow them to find something to say, some question, some rewording, some re-envisioning, some addition that will be a contribution to a conversation, even to a professor. This happens when there is less teacher talk, more student activity, and more genuine, open-ended conversation. And the spiral helps because students know that in their first spin around an idea, they can afford to make mistakes, to be wrong, to try things out, to have fun, because the topic will come around again. And the spiraling generates real conversation and supports students to offer and to feel that they receive interest, respect, and authentic engagement in the bigger conversations. So when I meet face-to-face, I will show you more concretely what a day in the life of this course looked like. Thank you.